Alright guys, I got the Redcat Ascent body on here. I already got it taken off. On the front, it's just a little hook that clips into a little bar up here in the front. Right here. There's a little circle piece that clips on over top. So my plans on this are wheels, tires, and a brushless system. I don't hate the stock brush motor. I just prefer the reliability, usability, or I just prefer brushless over brush. They handle power a lot better. They don't get as hot. They're more efficient. And brushless motors, at the end of the day, it's a wear item. So I'm going to be taking the speed controller brushless motor out and switching over to the Hobby Wing Quick Run Fusion Pro 2300 kV 2-in-1 brushless motor and ESC combo. So if you don't know what a 2-in-1 is, this does not need a speed controller on the side of it. This has the speed controller built in. All it is signal wire to the receiver, a positive and negative for your battery, and then a on-off switch. That is all it needs. And I can show you. Here's your motor. It is a 540 spec, 2300 kV, like I said. Everything is built into it. No need for ESC, which is why I prefer it for the crawlers. Plus, I mean, at the end of the day, it's made for it. So it's just my preferred version or preferred type of motor. The brush motors, they're not bad for a crawler. You got the right turn. Like this is a 42 turn, which would be plenty for this. A 42 turn is going to be just plenty for this kind of car and what it's going to be doing. But at the end of the day, I prefer brushless over anything. So, cut the zip ties. One of these is servo, which is this one. This one goes to speed controller. I'm going to have to figure out the antenna, get that out of my way. And I believe the speed controller should just be sticky tape on it. So, let me grab my little flathead, stuff it up under here. Yeah, just sticky tape. Now these Hexfly brushed ESCs, they do say they're waterproof. So, I'm sure you could get it wet, just not super wet. And it actually is, these are made by Hobby Wing. The ESC anyway, the motor is just a Redcat motor. But the ESC is a Hobby Wing unit, so that's pretty nice. Pop the plug out the receiver. It's kind of tight in here, so I do a little wiggling. There it is. So there's your Hexfly ESC. You see down there it says Hobby Wing. So it is a Hobby Wing unit. It's a good unit. I'm holding on to it anyway, just in case. I hold on to every motor and speed controller. So to get the motor out, it looks like you got to pull the two bolts here on the sides, it looks like. Yes, so there's, you can see it right here, there's two bolts here and then two bolts on the other side. And then it should all come out as one piece, possibly. It should. I guess we'll find out. Am I able? You could do it without taking it off, but I don't want to run the risk of stripping a bolt, and I'll have to do it anyway. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take everything off all as one. Hopefully it comes out easily. It may not. Now in my luck, it may be a few little issues getting it all out. Set this body up that way. So I'll go ahead and pause you guys. I'm gonna get this motor out, and just so I could save some time on the footage, because I have another video that's on my phone that needs to be edited, so kind of taking up space. But I got enough footage on here, or enough runtime to be able to video this. But I'm gonna just pause it, get this done, and get the motor out real quick and be back. So, alright, don't mind the fan in the back. So I got the motor out. So pretty much what you gotta do is disconnect these shock towers here. There's a screw down here and then one on the back side. And then you really only gotta do the one side, just so you could kind of get it up and out of the way. So that is the motor out. This piece does come out of the drive shaft. It's just a little spline section deal. So don't forget to put that back in. So now, I'm sure you guys can see, I'm going to go ahead and pop the motor out, which just as easy, just 2 screws right here on the bottom, or on the face of the motor I should say. Let's go 1 screw, 2 screws. I did notice this thing actually has a slipper clutch on it, so that's kind of neat. You don't see that on crawlers very often. So, there's your motor plate, motor. I am going to pop this pinion off and use it, because I don't know if I have another one in this pitch. Just like that. Got the pinion off. Set that aside. Grab the motor. Pop this thing out. This way you guys can kind of see a little more of what all comes with the motor and how simple and easy these 2-in-1s are. So the motor has your battery connectors. Any Hobby Wing, from what I know, comes with a XT60. And then you have your plug for your receiver, and then a on-off button. And this actually has a programmable controller inside of it, which it does come with the controllers and everything. It looks like, also, if needed, it does come with a servo extension, so that's nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the motor in here. I'm going to, let's see, it sits like this. It goes upside down, so the adjustment is on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and put the wires up top if I can. Right there is going to be close enough. I'll pause my video I'm watching. Get one of these bolts started. Hold the motor in, and then I'll go ahead and toss in the bottom bolt as well, just so I could go ahead and start getting the mesh correct. That way it is ready to go right back in. Now I haven't ran the 2300 motor, but as you, oh, a little too high. There it is. As you can see, you got both bolts in the motor. I actually got to loosen these up a hair so it rotates. But you get quite a bit of adjustment on here, and unfortunately you would be able to go more, but this motor is actually hitting the case right here. I don't think you would really need to go more than that, but it is an option. You would just kind of have to modify the case, it looks like, a little bit. I know this is off camera, I'm sorry, but kind of a fiddly part. Get the pinion gear all lined up on here. I'm actually going to flip this around the other way, I think. Yeah, something like that. Let me get this lined up, and then I'll show you where it's at. Pretty much with anything with any pinion to spur gear meshing, you want the pinion and the spur to be perfectly in line, as close as you could get. A little off isn't going to hurt anything. And then for the mesh on the two gears, usually what I like to do is I'll take a piece of paper and wedge it between the two, and then go ahead and tighten your screws up. Usually you put Loctite on these screws, but with it being a smaller Allen head, I'm not super worried about it. And pull your paper out, you can check your mesh, and every time you have the perfect mesh. Pretty much almost perfect mesh on your spur gear and pinion if you toss a piece of paper in between. So just you guys, so you can see the way the motor is going to go in. So it goes upside down like that. And don't forget your little piece here. This is probably going to be annoying, just judging, you know. Already dropping the piece that I said not to forget. Where did it go? You could just pop this axle off. I may end up doing that. Depends on if this would like to come out easily. So here it's in. Kind of had to snake it down and around, and I play with it a little bit. Just like so, and then pop this back down like so, and then you tighten everything up, put your bolts in back where they should go. I'm gonna do it off camera just because it's all fiddly stuff, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I did get it all back together. Like I said, sorry about the fan, it's pretty toasty back here. Motor's in. I mean, how smooth it is, even just like spinning it by hand, is crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and wire it all up. I gotta switch the connector on here and probably shorten this down, maybe a little bit. It's all boring stuff. Everyone either has seen how to do it or knows how to do it, or if anything, there's a million videos of how to wire motors and speed controllers up. It's not hard. Your servo looking wire that just goes to the receiver. This one just has a button which is probably going to get mounted up in the front here, and then battery power. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this wired up off camera, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and swap these shocks over to the Scout 8 shocks I have, just to raise it up a little bit. This thing does not have much travel in it, which is kind of upsetting, but not a huge deal. So I'm gonna swap that stuff over. I'm gonna get it all wired up first, then swap it over. I'll show it on camera doing the shocks. So I'll be back in a few, and yeah. Alright guys, so I got everything wired on it, as you can see. Everything's wired, tidied up okay. I left this, I ended up putting a zip tie here to keep the battery cable in a relatively decent spot. But I left it loose because I got to change the connector on it to a Dean's, just because I run that on pretty much everything else I have. I'm going to do that off camera. It's boring. Soldering is boring. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to pull the wheels off camera, and then we're going to go ahead and change the shocks, and then I'll show you the wheels and tires that are going on. So I'll be back in a minute.
Alright guys, so I got everything wired in, battery connectors on. I did tune the motor and I got the wheels pulled off. I'm gonna go ahead and do the shocks and the wheels off camera. My phone's pretty low, so I'm not gonna be able to really film it much. And these wheels, they're gonna take forever to put on. They are actual bead-lock wheels, so I gotta pull every screw out of these, which hopefully I have something that small. I will find out. But I'm gonna do that all off camera. It's boring, but yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. It looks like I'll post a picture of it in the video after it's all done at the end of it, so you'll be seeing that in a minute. But I gotta charge my phone up. I'm gonna just get this stuff done, and I'll see you guys later.